everybody, Renee here from O'Reilly Auto Parts to show you how to remove and replace the front brake pads and rotors on a 2006 Ford F-150. Procedures will be similar for most F-150 models from 2004 to 2008, but be sure to know the specifics for your vehicle before getting started. Once you've got your supplies together, here's what you'll do. Park on a level surface. If your front wheels have hubcaps, use a flathead screwdriver or trim tool to remove them. Use a lug wrench or 21mm socket and breaker bar to loosen the lug nuts on the front wheels. Chock the rear wheels. Then use a jack and jack stands to lift and support the front end of the truck. Remove the lug nuts and the front wheels. Turning the steering wheel away from the side you're working on will give you easier access to the caliper. Use a 13mm socket and ratchet to loosen and remove the 2 caliper bolts. Push in the slide pins on the bracket and work the caliper off. Hang it somewhere out of the way for now, making sure there's no pressure on the brake hose. Use a flathead screwdriver if needed to remove the old brake pads from the bracket, taking note of their orientation so you're sure to install your new brake pads properly. Compare the old pads with your new ones to make sure you have the right replacement parts. Now use an 18mm socket and ratchet or breaker bar to remove the 2 bolts securing the caliper bracket. And remove the bracket. Remove the old brake hardware from the bracket using a flathead screwdriver if needed. Spray the bracket down with brake cleaner, but don't use a wire brush to clean it. This can lead to further corrosion. If it's extremely rusty where the pads or hardware will sit, it needs to be replaced. Apply silicone grease to the spots on the bracket where your new brake hardware will sit, as well as the back of your new brake pads. Install the new hardware on the bracket and add some silicone grease to the hardware. Remove the slide pins and give them a visual inspection. If they're corroded or pitted, they need to be replaced. After wiping them down with a shop towel or rag, apply fresh silicone grease and reinstall them. Make sure that the slide pins move freely. Now remove the old rotor. If it's seized to the hub, you can use a hammer to tap it loose, but only use a hammer if you'll be replacing the rotor, since hammering can cause damage. Before installing your new rotor, use a wire brush to clean any rust off the hub and studs, and apply some silicone grease to the hub. We're installing Brake Best Select Pro rotors, which don't require cleaning, but for most other rotors, you'll need to use a brake cleaner and a shop towel or rag to remove oil from the friction surfaces of a new rotor. Anytime you use brake cleaner, remember that it will strip paint, so be very careful where you spray it. Install your new rotor, and use one of your wheel lug nuts to hold it in place as you continue to work if needed. Reinstall your caliper bracket by threading the bolts and using your 18mm socket and ratchet to tighten them. Once they're snug, use your torque wrench to tighten those bolts to 148 foot-pounds. Now clean the exposed portion of your caliper pistons with brake cleaner on a shop towel or rag. If a rubber boot is cracked or if there's brake fluid leaking, the caliper needs to be replaced. Attach your bleeder tool and wrench, and open the bleeder valve by turning it counterclockwise. Compress the brake caliper with a caliper compressor tool. When you're done, the pistons should be flush with the housing. Tighten the bleeder valve, then detach the bleeder tool. Now install your new brake pads in the bracket and attach the retaining clip. Once the pads are secure, move the caliper into place over the pads and thread the caliper bolts by hand, starting with the top one. Use your ratchet and 13mm socket to tighten them. Then use your torque wrench to tighten them to 55 foot-pounds. If you used a lug nut to hold your rotor in place, you can remove it now, as well as your caliper hanger. Reinstall the wheel and tighten the lug nuts until it's secure against the rotor. It's always a good idea to change brake pads and rotors in pairs, so repeat these steps on the other side. Lower the front end and remove the wheel chocks. Use your 21mm socket and torque wrench to tighten the nuts in a star pattern to 150 foot-pounds. If you removed hubcaps, snap them back into place. Once the job is complete, before you drive anywhere, be sure to pump your brake pedal several times until you feel the pressure return. Some brake fluid was pushed out when you compressed your caliper pistons, so check your master cylinder and add fluid as needed. If your brake pedal feels spongy, it's likely that you have air in one or both of your front brake lines. Here's a link to a video on how to bleed those lines to remove the air if needed. To help break in the new components, it's a good idea to test drive your vehicle, slowing it 30 times from 30 miles per hour with moderate brake pressure, allowing the brakes to cool for about 30 seconds in between each slowdown. Try to avoid aggressive stops during your break-in process. Your brakes will probably smell after you've done this, and that's okay. If the odor persists past 500 miles or so, or if you have excessive dust on a wheel, you may have a stuck caliper. And that's it. You'll find everything you need for this and other jobs at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or O'ReillyAuto.com. If you're not completely comfortable doing this yourself, we'd be happy to recommend a professional shop or certified auto repair service center in your area. And be sure to subscribe so you see all our new video content. We'll see you again soon.